Okay, next up I'm going to work on the wiring. Now that I've got all the heat inserts in, you can kind of see there. And then also this piece. So that's all done. I'm going to set that off to the side. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the battery holder. So you're basically going to need to join the positive and negative together here. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and do a quick little cut. After I do that, I'm going to strip this down a little bit. I recommend using wire strippers. I have these are the ones I use. Capri tools. It's like a kind of a nice little stripper. Make sure I get it. Okay, so I just got a little tiny tip there. And then the other thing I want to do, well, I'm going to join it together first. So I'm just going to bend these wires. If you have a helping hand, you can use that. I like to use this one here, so I'm going to tin these. Tin the wire tips so it makes it easier to join. And all you got to do for that, just get your solder out. But I'll just go in here and kind of lightly just get a little bit on that tip there. And same thing on this piece. You're just going to take, there's a couple ways you can do this, but I also want to put a little bit of heat shrink on it. So I've got a little piece of heat shrink here. I'm going to cut a piece off. So I'll put that on there, and then I'm going to join these wires. Now if they're 10, I can just come down, just real lightly touch them, and make sure you got a decent connection. That looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna hit it one more time. Here we go. That's better. So as long as you got a good connection, mostly covering it, and then you're gonna slide the heat shrink over. You can use a lighter, you can use a heat gun, you can use your soldering iron. I'm just gonna heat that heat shrink, melt it. Make sure it's, you don't want it shorting on anything. It's a good idea to cover it up. There we go. And then the other thing I want to do is just kind of tape this together on the back so it's staying together. Sometimes these come in like one solid piece, but this one's in two. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a couple pieces of tape here. So I've got a piece of electrical tape, and I'm just going to lay this flat. Just kind of put a little piece of tape right there like that. And then I'll just do another piece. The other thing, if you don't have heat shrink, you can also just use electrical tape to secure that connection. Okay, next up we're going to solder the motor. We're going to take the ends that we cut off the battery holder, and we're going to use those. So these one end's already stripped, which we're going to solder on. I'm also going to go ahead and strip this end. So I think we'll need that later. You don't need a whole lot on there, but just enough to solder to. We're going to repeat the process. We're going to go ahead and tin both ends of these. The other thing I do to make this a little faster is I'll just hold my solder wire like this, and I'll just hold the wire up to it. So you already got that in, so I'll do this end next. Make sure there's no frayed edges. If there are, just give it a little twist. And I'll repeat for the negative wire. All right. If you look closely on the motor, you see two little tabs here. That's where you're going to solder to. I would recommend tinning those. So just get your soldering wire, your solder, and then just kind of go in lightly tin these. You don't need to put much on there, just enough to hold it. Get a little more on this one. And then you're going to do the red one. So yeah, where'd it go? Okay, red wire. We're going to go ahead and put on the top. And then the black wire is going to go right here on the bottom. You can also use tweezers if you want, it's probably safer. But I'm pretty good without them, so. Alright, so when you're done, it should look like this. Just real light. You don't want any, make sure that you've got a clean connection, clean joint. You don't want anything that's dull. So if it's looking a little dull, just make sure you got enough heat on it. And just touch it up if it is, so. But they should look like that.